Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Bayan here to bring you a quick lesson. Prior to get started, I want to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kakutash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, you Akim, you Aquatus, you brothers and sisters in the Hebrew that believe. All right, and this lesson here is pretty much was inspired of me just riding through the country, you know. As you're probably going to see in the picture that I'm gonna have posted on there, you know, just ran across some cattle, you know, by the lake, and you know, decided to take a picture of it. And you know, if you just stare at the picture for a while, you could just, not for a while, even for a short time, you'll see that it's perfect. All right, everything in the surroundings and everything that, you know, that the Lord created, you know, with the Elohim, you know, back in at the beginning in Genesis, you know, that how perfect and beautiful everything is, man. And just me just sitting there just admiring everything I was looking at, you know. Then you think about the stupidity of that this dumbass thing called evolution, you know, that we was taught in school, you know, that we were once little organisms that became fish, whatever, became a bigger organism, and then became fish, and then we would come and get gas for air, and then eventually we walked on the land and became lizards, and then from lizards we became a bigger reptile, and then somehow I just want to start climbing trees, and you know, then we became fucking monkeys and shit. Like it's ridiculous, you know. And the fact that this is something that's being taught in school, all right. And obviously, it's we know what the agenda is, because you can't teach the scriptures in school, and even if they teach it in school, they don't teach it correctly, you know. But you know, nonetheless, you know, just this is what this lesson is pretty much going to be about, you know, just debunking this evolution. And you know, I'm gonna just hit it with a quick hit, you know, just boom, bow, and we're gonna get out of here. All right, but I'm gonna kick it off with the with 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and 39. All right, it says, all flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. All right, and that's plain and simple, man. If that's not a plain precept, I don't know what is. All right, it's letting you know that it's different, you know, different forms of life. All right, and man was never a monkey. All right, that's why they still have monkeys here. All right, man was never a fish. All right, yes, we have lungs, and you know, but we can't breathe underwater. We don't have gills. Okay, just like how fishes do. All right, and it's just completely idiotic for anybody to still believe in that. All right, it's ridiculous. All right, and that just shows your ignorance, you know, to the Most High. All right, but you know, to you atheists, and I don't know what they call the people that believe in evolution, you know, the Lord gonna show Himself soon. All right, so be ready for that. All right, and you know, for you, Jake, if you believe in that, man, just at this point, I don't even know what to tell you. All right, if you are a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, and you believe in evolution, if you even believe any part of that being true, like you are a dumbass. All right, and that's just plain and simple. You know, you gotta be, you know, harsh with that word right there. You know, straightforward, like no way around it. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna just hit it with a 1-2 punch, man. And my second precept that I got here, let's go back to the beginning at Genesis. Okay, this is Genesis 1:26, and it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. All right, and again, God here is Elohim. All right, so it's going into, Yahweh Shai and the angels. All right, because the Lord didn't create all of this by himself. He had help, with the angels. If you go into the word and you look at the blue letter of that word, Elohim, is going to tell you divine ones, angels, and so on and so forth. I don't have another phone with me to bring it out, but if you go in the blue letter Bible, you click God in Genesis 1, it's going to say Elohim. Okay, but continuing on, it says, let us make man in our image. All right, and when he says make man in our image, that's giving man the law, statutes, and commandments, the understanding. All right, the understanding of things. Okay, and why do we need that understanding? It said to have dominion, all right, over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all earth, and every, it's like over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. All right, it's a clear distinction of all different, different type of animals, birds, land animals, sea animals, every creature, is broken down in here, and it's a clear separation of it all. All right, and it definitely set us apart of giving us that understanding, of us having understanding. All right, and just to furthermore beat that point in, and I'm gonna end it off with this right here. I'm gonna jump to the book of Sirach, chapter 17 and 4. All right, furthermore backing up that Genesis, it says in Ecclesiasticus of Sirach chapter 17 and 4, it says, let me see what I'm gonna start. 3, Sirach 17 and 3, it says, he endued them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image. All right, just what I was just going into, and it's going to furthermore break itself down again of what that image is. It says, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. All right, it says they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th speech, an interpreter of cogitations thereof. All right, so we have 7 senses. Okay, you hear that, the 6 senses, and I can't even sit here and really think of them all right now. I know it's sense. It's the sense of smell, sense of touch, hear, and whatever the rest is nonetheless. But you would think that it's 6, but we have 7. All right, and that 7th is when it comes to understanding. All right, we can solve problems. We are blessed to go into a deep thought, which that word cogitations, wherever that was, cogitations, yeah, that's what cogitations go into in verse 5. All right, so we have speech. A dog can't speak fluid language. A sea animal can't speak a fluent language. All right, so that's another sense that we have over all of these different animals, all these other creatures in the world. And then last but not least, again, the cogitations of going into a deep thought. All right, we could go into a very, very deep thought and figure things out, and I just said it, but solving things. Okay, but all in all, that's a quick 1-2 2-piece combo with a biscuit right there, man, of debunking evolution, Darwin's whatever that damn Edomite name was, Darwin something. But it's just looking at this, man, you know that it has to be a higher power. We have everything in the scriptures is true, man. All right, I had just a little testimony, and I bring this out a lot when I talk to random people sometimes, and they not on the same level that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm on any high level, but I'm in the truth. I have the understanding that I have right now, which Lord willing I continue to grow. But when it comes to people still having that type of faith, you know, they don't know the Lord like that, but it's something that, you know, they believe in God at the end of the day, you know, needless to say. All right. But one thing that I heard from like a coach back when I was in high school, and it stick with me to this day. All right. He told me, man, it was a nice little bright day at football practice, man. They had some clouds, and, you know, and he told everybody, look up, and told us, man, you can't tell me this is not a perfect portrait picture, you know, and you can't tell me that it's not a higher power that created this, man. All right, everything out here the Lord created is real meticulous, you know. Everything is real precise, you know, how the Lord did everything, man. And just sitting back and just observing the entire world, man, it's art at its purest form, man. And it's very detailed. So you can't say that, you know, all of this happened just off of the Big Bang Theory and, you know, whatever, you know, stupid Edomite stuff that's out there, man. You know, the Lord did this, man, along with the angels, you know, with the Elohim, you know. Lord willing, that was us, you know. We were with the Lord willing, you know, because that'll be the men that is going to be saved also, you know, at the end of things, man. But you know, just you know, a quick little 1-2, and just getting some thoughts of, man, just admiring this work of art that the Elohim created, you know. But I pray that this lesson was edifying. Trying to get out of here, I want to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, you Akim, you Akwat, which is your brothers and sisters in the Hebrew that believe. Shalom.